Did you Destiny and Dave Rubin on Piers lol? You missed a few words there, Lily Creme. You think so little of me that you can just skip out on those words? Yeah, I saw it. It was on the it was on my feed.
People celebrating the near assassination of Donald Trump. If you can't find it in you to chastise people who do that, aren't you just as despicable as the people that you've just spent the last 2 minutes haranguing?
No, because they've led the way. This is the environment that they've created.
So you just so you think behaving like the people you think are despicable is the correct course of action?
Not about behaving like the people who are despicable would be leading that type of rhetoric. It would be denying every single bad thing. How many times as a liberal? How many times as a liberal have you been on a show? Not you in general, but like a liberal been on a show and you've been forced to disavow all of the BLM riots, disavow all of the violence, and blah blah blah. And then you talk to conservatives about it. January 6th,
violence.
that was
That's
a false
good.
flag.
Yeah.
January 6th. Oh, like conservatives disavow January 6th?
Wait. First off, there's an entire cultural machine that has lied. There's an entire
we just saw it in real time. That's it.
What?
That's why conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy for anything.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, Dave Rubin, just like the rest of them. It's like the difference between the right and the left when it comes to this is that the right, well, first of all, like the targets are different, right? Like the left will say, "Oh, f these fascists, put them against the wall," and the left will say that, and the right will be like, "Oh yeah, like we have to literally do the Holocaust too or whatever." The difference in targets is meaningful. And secondly, like left-leaning officials don't do any of that shit, right? When you see like violent rhetoric from the left, it's like Twitter shit posters. When you see violent rhetoric from the right, it's their entire like governmental apparatus. It's all the people in power. It's their pundits, it's their donors, it's their politicians at every level, publicly and privately, endorsing stochastic terror, laughing off violence that their followers do. It's insane, genuinely. It's not like AOC is out there like calling for the death of all of her political opponents, but Dave Rubin, just like the rest of them, was talking about how like it was laughing about Paul Pelosi getting hit with hammers or whatever, talking about killing opponents, you know? Also, who's in power here? It's not the left. It wouldn't matter whether the left or the right was the one in power, because it is fundamentally different to call for violence against fascists and call for violence against gender, racial, and sexual minorities. They're fundamentally different things. If you disagree with that, you disagree with like the basic concept of like, I guess, justice, the idea that there are differences between people in terms of their behavior and they merit different consequences, you know? You know, you think it's bad to kill gay people? Well, you know, you think it's okay to kill murderers. So what about that, huh? Yeah, it's just meaningless. Did you see this tweet? I would never use Twitter. Way too much text. Dave Rubin said he'd kill a teacher for calling his son Justine instead of Justin. Yeah, I saw that. All of it varyingly, Lily. He said he wants AOC and the squad to Aaron Bushnell themselves. Yeah. It's not, again, I don't even like equivocating, because I don't like the implication that the right engages in violent rhetoric just like, I don't know, in this case, Destiny or whatever. Well, I mean, Destiny has a history of engaging in plenty of violent rhetoric, but in this instance specifically, you know, like the person who died, that dipshit firefighter who caught a bullet instead of Trump, that guy was a fascist. He was a piece of shit. His political ideology is one that necessitates your suffering. It's not like we're not disagreeing over different ways of achieving a common goal. That's the centrist way of thinking, and that's stuff like people like Dave Rubin pretend to believe this. When people like Dave Rubin are called out, they pretend that he's just a guy from the other side of the aisle working to find solutions to common problems, and you're the one who's turning into this big combative thing. And then you look through his history and he's called for the death of like queer people and shit. Or like, you know, leftists. It's not even a matter of like equivocating the violent speech. It's the kind of speech in addition to its volume. The right has more of it, and their speech is morally indefensible, whereas it is entirely defensible to be blasé about the death of fascists. When Gosner did the attack on time with AOC, it's like all of them. Where's that bit from, where the hell is that clip I saw, you know? Here we go. Finally, I found it.
6 years old. He's in first grade. Imagine if I found out that actually for 3 months, there was a teacher talking to him about gender or sexuality, maybe calling him Justine instead of Justin, and I didn't know about that. I might kill that person. That's where we're at, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's Dave Rubin when a teacher teaches pronouns to his child. You know, that's pretty insane. It is literally at every level of the Republican culture war. This is why I say people are like, oh, you say they want us dead. Why do you say? Dude, they literally talk about it. I'm pretty sure this clip got deleted off the internet because Dave Rubin realized he went a little bit mask off here. But like, they signal it constantly. What do you think Michael Knowles, like the elimination of transgenderism means? Like how stupid would you have to be to think that that means anything other than genocide? Like genuine, like how idiotic would you have to be? The RNC invited that dude that said leftists need some killing. Yeah, literally. Like one of the RNC speakers from the first day is a guy who is currently most known for just openly saying that he thinks that they should kill their opponents. Do you think this is so normalized by the right people just expect it, but when a liberal is a little uppity, it's so different that it seems extreme? Well, like fundamentally, I think that like it is a strategic failure of the Democrats broadly that they don't constantly talk about this nonstop. You go to a Democrat and they're like, Republicans support the radical Supreme Court that overturned Roe v. Wade. Dude, they said they'll kill you. Talk about it. Democrats can't so much as like go to a fucking pride march without being accused of destroying the country by the right. Meanwhile, the right is openly talking about killing the opposition, and the Democrats just don't talk about it.
So unless you don't want these people killed, and I mean this somewhat flippantly,
the Minecraft,
like they want to abuse children. They want to abuse children. That is abuse. I don't mean that as overt sexual abuse, but it is an abuse of a child.
The mainstream position of the Republican Party is killing queer people. I've said this for years, man. They do it with a simple and historically consistent obfuscation. If you promote queer politics, exposure in any way, shape, or form, you're a groomer. Groomer is synonymous with pedophile. And they say openly they want to kill pedophiles. See this like very clever 1 to 2 they've done. Oh man, they're just saying they hate pedophiles, man. Why are you assuming that they're going after queer people when they say pedophile? That seems like projection on your part. And then they call every queer person a pedophile. It's not even remotely subtle. Didn't Dave Rubin say some insane shit after the Pulse Club shooting? He said insane shit after every time. When can you guys point out to me an example of a mainstream conservative pundit who went out of their way to insist on civility and moderation after any major act of violence done by a right-winger? Christchurch? Pulse Club? The shooting in Colorado? Nancy Pelosi? Or Paul Pelosi? Buffalo? Geraldo Rivera was the only one. Yeah, and he broke with the rest of the party on it. Yeah.